Hi, everybody. My name is Jill. I am a compulsive overeater, and I want to thank Jerry for asking me and for everybody doing service today. Yeah, this is just a rich topic. It's great to be asked to share on it. You know, uh, I've been in program for 4.5 years, very similar to our previous speaker, and I've released 65 pounds in that time, and program's been the best thing that I ever did for myself, for sure. I'll share a little bit about my experience here. So we come into program, and it's one of the first things that I did anyway was to admit I was powerless over food. The quandary is that food is something we have to face every single day. When I was looking at the calendar and thinking about the theme of March Madness, I was thinking, how many holidays and special, quote unquote, special events do we have per year? And when you think about it, about every 6 weeks or so, we have a special event or a holiday that means people are going to gather with large quantities of food. And for some people, it might be a lot more regular than that. I'm just talking about the big ones. So I really believe, as people have said today, that life is to be enjoyed. So being in this program does not mean that I won't go and socialize and be with people, even when there's a lot of food around. I did so much isolating before I came into program. I don't want to isolate anymore. I want to be a part of life. And so I I wanted to, when I came into program, I wanted to figure out how to go to these gatherings. I wanted to figure out how to go to restaurants and be with people, even though when I came into program, there nobody was going to restaurants. But since then, everything's opened up. So I'm here because I'm in program because I want to change my life. I do that one day at a time. And so there are a lot of events aside from holidays, aside from sporting events. There are a lot of events I didn't think I could do and enjoy without food. Movies, for example. How was I ever going to watch a movie without all the bags and boxes? Vacations. Food was a very big part of our vacations before program. And as my disease progressed, um, it was how was I going to get through a work day without various bags and boxes and snacking? And then it was, well, running errands was a great excuse to eat and a great opportunity to eat. So it infected, if you will, compulsive overeating became a part of every aspect of my day. So I want to start with going to gatherings. When I was first in program, the first big holiday was Thanksgiving, and it was again during COVID, so it was a very small gathering. But I was just overwhelmed with the amount of food that the hostess had prepared, and it seemed like everywhere I turned, and I wasn't prepared for it. And I actually ended up going to the grocery store because I wanted to get out of the house. The hostess needed something picked up at the grocery store. I volunteered. I kind of tore out of the house, went to the grocery store, and how ironic that my escape was going to the grocery store. But the thing that happened was as I grabbed the item that the hostess needed and I got in line, in front of me, there was a very overweight woman who had her cart filled with all the things that, we know, sugary, whatever. And I stopped and I looked at her and I looked at the grocery cart and I knew what she was going home to do because I had done it many times before. And at that moment, I was like, no, I can go back. I can go back to Thanksgiving. I can do this. And so just to tell you that the will to go on maybe was not mine, but the picture really stuck with me for that day. Um, but walking into any gathering, there was never a hostess that was putting on a gathering that didn't need a pair of hands. Even if the hostess says, I don't need any help, I look around. There's a kid that maybe needs somebody to play a game with. There's an adult in a corner who's maybe feeling not so welcome. I can go, I can talk to them, I can do whatever. I can look around and figure out something to do. I love the idea of putting distance between me and the food table. I definitely have done that before. I also kind of picture these blinders that you see maybe horses wear. I can put on like my kind of metaphorical blinders. And if I'm sitting at a table with a lot of other people who probably are eating something very different than me, those blinders go on and I don't glance around at their plates. I focus on mine and mine alone. I'm also getting back to doing service, helping out the hostess. If I'm helping, I'm not eating. And I remember one party I was at, and uh, I ended up serving the dessert, and I was like, "Whoa, this is not a good idea for me." But there was a bunch of people standing around. It needed to be done, and the thing of it was it I could have been passing out paper and a pencil to everybody. It was like the minute it was service rather than handing out food or dealing with food, if I look at it as it's just service, it just becomes a thing that I'm passing out. Now, I'm not suggesting you do this. If anything about this is triggering, don't do it. I'm just saying, in my experience, that can work for me. So that's gatherings. I also really want to plug in for taking my food. And I have taken it everywhere. I remember my husband and I were invited to a black tie wedding at the New York Botanical Garden, an evening wedding. Just we walked in, everybody was dressed to the nines. I have slung over my back, my shoulder, my red backpack with all my food in it. And, if I can do it there, I can pretty much do it anywhere. Did I get questions? Did I get, some comments? Absolutely. But you know what? I walked out of that place. I had as good a time as anybody else, dancing and laughing and having fun. And I did not overeat. And that's worth everything to me. So I really plug bringing food with me. Even if it's a dinner party where the hostess has asked, what do you eat? What can I prepare for you? Um, I, if even if she or he thinks they've got it down, they understand what my food plan is, they probably don't. And so just to have my food with me in case is just a godsend for me. I picked up on both of the previous speakers saying it's not the unexpected stuff that's going to get you, because really in our lives, there aren't that many like totally unexpected situations. There are a few for sure, but it's the unplanned for ones that'll get you. And so the guidance to work through an action plan, work with your sponsor is such good guidance. I remember one time an unexpected event really did happen. We regularly travel to Utah for a hiking vacation, and we can be in some really remote areas. I knew the next day we were going to be way out there. And I knew I had to pack my food. So previous night, packed it, got it all ready, prepped it, I should say, got it in the fridge, got up the next morning. We were packing the car, bringing our layers and our all our stuff, and took off for the day. And when lunchtime came, I opened up the cooler and my lunch wasn't there. Well, I thought my husband had packed it. He thought I had packed it. When I called my sponsor, the first thing she said to me was, "No one other than you is ever in charge of your food." That has saved me ever since. Every time I pack a meal, because I know I'm going to be out, I have the food listed. I have one column that's my prep column, the other column that's my packed column. And so it gets checked off before I leave the house. And I have not had that problem since. But those words are ringing in my ear. No one's responsible for my food except me. So the other thing that we're very much, I believe, very much I want to be a part of in my life is travel. And so lots of other OA people have gone before me and have actually created documents that give great tips about how to travel successfully in this program. TSA website is really helpful in getting through security and not having your food taken away. Yeah, and I've done it. I've gone to other countries and stayed abstinent. I have a couple things come to mind with that. Um, Getting an Airbnb so I have a kitchen, or at the very least, a hotel where there's a microwave and a refrigerator can really be very helpful. Um, Additionally, Google Translate, if you're going to a country where English is not the spoken language, Google Translate is such a godsend. Godsend. It's helps with translating labels for other foods there. I've actually worked with a grocery store worker. I would just type in what I was looking for. She would take me to where it was in the aisle. I could get it. And I use Google Translate when trying to communicate with a waiter about what kind of foods I needed to have. And it worked really well. So I've had great experience with that. Let me see. Um, Changing changes in life, which is another part of the topics today. I'm about a month away from retirement, and for sure, that's a big change in life for me. Now, this change in life is not going to affect my food, but there are changes in life that can affect food. There's illness, there's injury, there's pregnancy, there's breastfeeding. And so, of course, these aren't the unexpected things necessarily an injury might be, but sponsors are so helpful in getting us through those changes in life and the unexpected that come up. What I'd like to say about changes in life, for me, from my perspective, coming up on retirement, is it's not the food aspect so much necessarily. It's the life change aspect. It's the feelings that are coming up associated with retirement and how that can be that has thrown me. Where are all these feelings coming from? What are they stemming from? And if I don't go through those feelings when I have them, um, it could mess with my food. So I'm very conscious right now of sticking really close to the tools every day, doing my writing, doing extra writing as needed, talking to people about what I'm going through. Because people have done this before, many people, and they can help me out. So that's awesome. Um, let's see, I'd like to talk a little bit more about recognizing that change is perhaps the hardest thing in life, but it is
Have
absolutely,
5 minutes,
thank
Jill.
you. Change is one of the hardest things in life, of course, but it's one thing we can depend on. We are going to have to navigate change in our life. And that's where the framework of program can be so instrumental. Because if it's not writing that might be helpful today, it's calling somebody. It's not calling, it's getting on a meeting, recording, getting on a meeting. We just have so many options to turn to in this program. Like to say a few words about eating in restaurants, which I mentioned earlier. I really do think that's because we socialize a lot in restaurants and it's just part of our life. Um, when I know I'm going to a restaurant, I am definitely getting on the menu online, taking a look. And my approach is I will read that menu, every single word on the menu. I will skip the desserts and stuff, but I will look for what I can pick out of an entree, a meal that might be okay on its own for me. And I will pick that thing apart and I will go into that restaurant with a plan in place. I can also call, I can also talk to staff when I'm there, but for my mental security, so to speak, peace of mind, I want to walk in with a plan. I can tell you that I will definitely have a backup meal in the car outside so that if anything, if they've changed the menu or they're out of that particular time, I've got something I can go back out to the car and get if I need it. I also am a big believer in having a go bag. Every one of us, if you think about your food plan, there are relatively unperishable alternatives that can sit in a bag, ready to go for your meals. And this is one of those things that maybe, every month or so you got to turn it, kind of change it out. But if you think of all the categories, there's something that can sit and just be there in case. And for those really truly unexpected things that happen, that might be the thing that saves you. It might get you, through a dinner where you had to go, take care of a sick dog or somebody you love ended up in the hospital, you got to be there for a few hours. That might be the thing that saves you. And so that's a relatively easy thing to have available for yourself um, for any kind of unexpected thing that might come up.